Hello and happy Monday. I'm starting out this video quite strange as it is currently 9:15 in the evening. But I woke up this morning and I really had the urge to sort of pick up my camera and start filming, which is something I've wanted to do for quite some time now. However, I have spent the entirety of today just having a mammoth house tidy. It's just been much needed and I haven't really found the time to do it over the last sort of like month or so, and I just really wanted to dedicate all my time and attention to getting that done today so that I can go into this new week and just have a really good productive week with that being done. Because if you're anything like me, I just exist in a much better headspace when my environment's nice and tidy. So yeah, I've just literally spent the entire day doing that. But I still wanted to pick up my camera because I think going forward into this new week, what I'm going to do just to get back into the swing of vlogging is just sort of film my day as it comes. I'm not going to put any sort of strict routine on myself. I just think I'm gonna do some clips and then somewhat put it all into a weekly vlog maybe. We'll see how I get on. But yeah, I just wanted to pick up the camera and get back to it because I do still have the passion to get to my goal weight, lose weight overall, and just get healthier and fitter in general. And basically, well, I'll use sort of like my last video as like a time comparison, but basically since then I haven't really tracked my calories. I haven't really been going to the gym consistently or anything like that. The things that I have been doing are, you know, I've kept up to my 10,000 steps, do that every day, and I haven't really weighed in like consistently either, but I have been hopping on the scale sporadically here and there. And since my sort of last weigh-in video, I've just kind of gone up and down a couple of pounds here and there from that, essentially somewhat maintained. So there is some saving grace in the fact that I haven't sort of like not tracked and not filmed and just completely gone off the rails, gained the 2 stone that I've lost so far back and used it as an excuse to just go absolutely crazy. So that's really good for myself, you know, that I'm starting to go into a period of my life where actually I just exist and try and do the right thing naturally. But obviously there's a way to go because there is an amount of weight before I reach my goal that I really want to get to. And I don't know whether it's just the fact that I've been like calorie counting for so long that it just feels very tiresome, and yeah, I don't know. But I listened to a podcast, I think it was like early June time, and it was a Diary of a CEO podcast. If you don't listen to it, it's fantastic. He has such great guests on. But this one particular podcast, I will link it below, or like write which one it was, really aligned with me. I can't remember the name of the doctor, so I will just pop it on screen, but it was basically interviewing him, and it was such a fascinating sort of interview, and like I say, just really aligned with me. I really enjoyed it, and then I decided to download the book Metabolical, which he wrote, and honestly this book is absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend that if you find anything to do with your body and how food interacts with the body, and like big food and big pharma and, you know, all that kind of stuff interesting, I would highly recommend it. The book is basically, the title of the book explains it quite well. So the title of the book is Metabolical, which is a play on words between metabolism and diabolical, and it's really fascinating how, you know, the sort of job of your microbiome and your liver, and, you know, the sort of influence between your brain and your gut and the hormones that control hunger. It's just so good. I'm not going to do it justice by explaining it, so I very much urge you to go check it out if you're interested in that kind of thing. So yeah, I read that it's about 16 hours long. Absolutely loved it. And then that inspired me to then finish reading this. Now, if you are a subscriber or you've watched my other videos, you may have seen that I picked this up at the start of the year. But yeah, inspired me to read this, which is the Chris Van Tulleken's Ultra Processed People: Why Do We Eat Stuff That Isn't Food and Why Can't We Stop? And it is also fantastic. I would also highly recommend this. So that has now all kind of somewhat organically brought me to the place I am now, which is, I feel like I am wanting to transition into a place where I have sort of a new ideology towards my weight loss and towards my fitness and towards my health. I suppose it's really hard for me to decompartmentalize everything that I've learned, listened to, read, and, you know, just sort of taken on board over the last sort of like month or so of reading and listening to these fantastic books. But it's brought me to a place where I am more focused on sort of like the foods I'm eating than sort of like getting it to a specific calorie number, and it's just flipped the way I think about weight loss, health, food, and a lot of it has really made sense with some of the struggles that I've had. It sort of touches upon like sugar and the role sugar has on the body. Sorry if you can hear something, it's Jim and Joe probably playing basketball on the PlayStation. But yeah, what was I saying? So I'm trying to think of a way that I can articulate what's going on in my mind and sort of like bring you along with me. But basically, I'm moving into a place where I want to focus more about the actual foods I'm eating and making sure that they're good sort of actual foods. I guess, you know, in a nutshell, I'm trying to eliminate the ultra processed foods because I now know how just terrible they are for your body, and the role they play. And one of the sort of ideologies from the metabolical book I read was that you should think about your health in terms of protecting the liver and feeding the gut, because they have such a vital role in your body and in weight management. And yeah, it's just so interesting. And I think that possibly one of the things where I've been going so wrong is approaching it from, right, I've got this caloric number to aim for, and then I have been thinking, you know, how can I get as much out of my food for the day to fit into that number. And that has been playing havoc on my body because I do have somewhat of an autoimmune condition. I have my lipedema and what have you. And I come out in like really bad hives. I actually had something this last week where the white of my eye swelled up and I had to go to the optician, and he said that it was a sort of like inflammatory response from my body, some kind of allergen response. And that was very interesting because I had been, obviously after reading both these books, I've been sort of really trying to focus on the foods I've been eating, what I've been putting into my body. And I did notice a dramatic switch in how I felt. My skin cleared up really well, wasn't getting the hives, my inflammation settled down somewhat. I felt like I had actual clarity and just felt better in general. And then one evening last week we had a friend over, and I'd planned to make a really lovely lamb curry, but our friend wasn't a big fan of curry, so he then offered to get a takeaway, So we just went with that option, and I thought, okay, you know, I've been eating really well and stuff, and I'm not being like super strict on myself, because I don't think that's going to really work. I'm just trying to, as much as possible, limit like the ultra processed foods, sugars, all that kind of stuff, as much as I can. But I had a couple of glasses of wine and a couple of slices of pizza, and then, I mean, it could be complete coincidence, but then the next morning I woke up with this sort of inflamed eye and the optician was like adamant that it was some kind of allergen inflammatory response. So there we go. So yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to pop on and have a little chat, a little somewhat of a catch up, little sort of explanation as to what's going on, as I'm going to continue filming this week and take you on this journey with me to sort of rediscovering food, and explain a little bit better over the course of the week, so that we haven't just got like a 2-hour long clip of me rambling on, not probably making much sense. It's quite late and I do need to get to bed soon. But yeah, I've just been super excited and re-inspired, and I just felt like I really wanted to bring you guys along with me. I have missed filming, but for whatever reason there isn't really one specific reason. I didn't intentionally go, oh, I'm not going to film for like 3 or 4 months. There wasn't anything really intentional, and there wasn't really anything profound, but you know, here we are, and I'm very excited to see where this new sort of like mindset and rediscovery of health, I suppose, takes me. There has been some quite big changes over the last couple of months, one of them being that my stepson Joe now lives with us full time, and he has done since February. I'm sure you will get to see him and meet him soon. He's got no issue with being on camera, and like I say, I do want to pick up sort of daily vlogging as much as I can. So yeah, I'm sure you get to meet him soon. But I suppose the final note on that is that, you know, I do really want to reach my goal, and I feel like everything's sort of happened the way it has to lead me to this point right now. So I'm very excited to see where that's going to take me. I do think one thing for myself that is really important is keeping the sort of awareness and things really alive, because although over the last few months I haven't been like really like super off the wagon or anything, I also haven't been doing the best that I could be doing. And I think since sort of like listening and reading these books and listening to that podcast and just being a bit more aware, I've definitely got that sort of like fire and passion and drive. It does, I must say, it does take a long time to shop now, because I'm in the supermarket like flipping everything over. One thing that's, I think, is a bit of a good explanation of my new sort of focus is the fact that I don't tend to pay too much attention to sort of like the traffic lighted calorie carbohydrates and things like that on the front of the packet. I'm turning it over and looking at the ingredients in it, and although I'm totally aware that to lose weight you still have to be in a calorie energy deficit, and there is I'm not just saying if it's, you know, not ultra processed and real food, I'm gonna have like 700 potatoes every day. That's not what I'm saying at all, but I'm just trying to pay a lot more attention to what's in my food, what's been done to the food, and you know how that is. Am I going to eat that, and is my liver going to go, whoa, we've got to process all this refined sugars, and you know, then my glucose is spiking all over the place, and then I'm crashing and I can't do anything because I'm tired, and then, you know, am I eating a vast amount of things that are going to strip my digestive system of its microbiome and all its good bacteria and, you know, that kind of thing, because it's, as I've learned, it all interlinks and it all has such a huge part of like keeping you well, keeping you healthy, and also helping you with weight loss and things like that. So I'm very excited to see where this new direction takes me. I hope obviously I just keep building upon it. If you do have any other recommendations for books like Metabolical or Ultra Processed People, please let me know in the comments, because I am very much sort of wanting to continue absorbing all the knowledge possible about our bodies and food, and just learn as much as I possibly can, because I do, to be honest, I think regardless of whether I was on a weight loss journey, it's not really about that. I just find it quite fascinating in general. But like I say, I think what I'm going to do is just pick up the camera tomorrow morning and just bring you along on my life. Oh, this is probably one thing too. Over the course of this week, things are going to keep popping into my head and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to tell you guys this, I need to tell you guys this. But I decided to cancel my gym membership, and probably, if I'm honest, one of the main reasons is because I wasn't using it as much as I should have been to justify the cost. That's main reason number one. But I also really want to, as we're moving into the warmer weather, be outside as much as possible, so go on lots of bike rides, hiking. I really would like to start doing like a walk, jog, sit thing in the mornings as well. And then I do have like a kettlebell and some weights. I've got my hoop. I've got lots of things here that I can sort of utilize and use to improve my fitness. So that's the plan with that. I did aim to start that last Monday on the 1st of July. I wanted to start like my new fitness regime to align with my diet, but I ended up with some quite bad blisters from wearing some shoes which I've worn many times before, but for whatever particular reason, this one time decided to rub my poor heels raw. So I have been making sure they heal quite well. Haven't really been able to wear any shoes with a back, and they have only just healed over. So I'm hoping at some point this week I can actually put on some shoes, some proper shoes, as opposed to my Crocs, which have been a lifesaver over the last couple of weeks, let me tell you. And yeah, that's exciting and fun. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up now because I feel like I've rambled on for ages and ages and ages and probably not made much sense, like I say, but hey ho. I feel like I'm a little bit rusty with filming and it's going to take a while to get back into swinging things, so please bear with me, guys. Yeah, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this week. And happy Tuesday. My day has changed somewhat in the plan that I initially had. I was due to go into the studio to work today. However, yesterday evening I just thought, oh, I'll have a little quick look at my work messages and emails ahead of today. And the client that was in had to unexpectedly rearrange last minute, so that's okay, that happens sometimes. So I will be working from home, which is good actually, as I have quite a lot I need to do, and it sort of saves the couple of hours that I would be travelling into work. It gives me that back so that I can have a little bit more time rather than being in the car travelling, so that's good. I've been up and helping Joe sort of get himself ready for work because he's not very well. an unwelcomed bug has fallen on this household. Joe and Jim both are not very well at the moment. They have some kind of cold or something, very sort of congested, and have a cough. So I am hoping and praying that my immune system fights it off and I don't get it. But yeah, I'll probably pop out at some point to try and get some supplies to try and help them with that. But yeah, just a home worky day. It's actually very, very cozy. The weather is insane. So we are on the 9th of July and it could well be sort of November. It's very dark, it's very rainy, but extremely cozy. So I think I might get some candles lit and make myself a little workstation and crack on. I was hoping to go on a walk today, so might have to pull the waterproofs out for that. It's not looking too good. I'm not sure how well I explained sort of like my new mindset goals, sort of, yeah, thinking and feelings towards my health and weight loss in yesterday's clip. As I said, you know, I was cleaning the house all day and I just wanted to action filming again, because I was like, if I don't do it now, I'll keep putting it off. And like I said, I had the massive urge to do it yesterday, so I just thought I'll pick up the camera and just start somewhere. That's all I can do. But essentially, my new ethos towards my health and weight loss and overall well-being really is to just try and limit ultra-processed foods as much as possible. And it is a very large task, as everything in the supermarket is full of additives and, you know, artificial flavors and sugars. And if it's like saying that it's low fat, then, you know, there's something in there to replace that crucial ingredient. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to be super strict about it. I'm not going to beat myself up if I do, you know, have the odd thing here and there. But after reading those books and learning a lot about it, it made a lot of sense, and it made me sort of consider the quality of the foods that I was eating. And then when I looked into it in a little bit more detail, like I said, rather than just considering the sort of macros or the sort of traffic light system on the front, in the UK, if you're watching outside of the UK, we have a traffic light system on our foods, which is green, amber and red, to determine whether that part of the food is bad, sort of not in between, or good. So say for instance, if it was in a fairly low calorie bracket per 100 gram, it would be green. If it was really high salt or sugar, based on your, you know, on the government guidelines of the recommended. But that in itself is a bit weird, because let's say for instance it's a box of cereal, they're gauging it off like a 30-gram portion. Now, I don't know anybody who will weigh out 30 gram and just eat 30 gram of cereal, because it's literally like a tiny sort of dip bowl size. Yeah, and so yeah, basically I started to look at what was actually in the foods I was eating, like the ingredients, how processed are they minimally processed, are they ultra processed, you know, what is it made up with. And it's just sort of like random things as well, like a lot of foods in the supermarkets have a lot of the things taken out and things added, and it's not for flavour or health benefits, it's just basically to save that company money, but it has some detriment to your health. So yeah, so basically a lot of peanut butter, they'll remove like 20% of the peanuts and put in rapeseed oil, and like I say, it's not anything to do with flavour or texture, it's just that rapeseed oil is cheaper than peanuts. And seed oils, I've learned, play a huge sort of role in stripping your esophagus and microbiome of the mucus, which helps regulate hunger. In your intestine, it can cause inflammation and leaky gut, and it's so fascinating. And I'm gonna try and sort of like randomly pop things in I've learned, rather than just try and like overwhelm everyone with it over the course of the next few weeks. And I'm still learning, and I don't know everything, but what I do know is that I don't want to be part of sort of big foods profits. I want to approach what I eat as, is this the best nourishment for my body, or is it helping somebody go on, you know, around the world trip at the end of the year because they've manufactured something to be addictive, and it's not got any benefit for me whatsoever, other than the fact that I'm lining the pockets of the people that are manufacturing these food-like products. Yeah, bit of a Tuesday morning ramble, but like I say, I'm gonna just try and, rather than overwhelm in one sort of like really long video, just pop it into clips here and there when I'm eating things and try and explain it that way. But that being said, I am going to crack on with that to-do list, crack out my work bag and get some work done. So I'm just about to make my breakfast, which is a breakfast I've been really enjoying quite a lot recently, and it's the thing I tend to reach for most mornings. So I've just been having 40 gram of these just organic bran flakes with 250 millilitres of organic kefir and around sort of 15 grams of sultanas. I just really like sultanas. I know some people are a little bit sort of like not a fan, to say the least, but I do really enjoy them. And then just a sprinkling, usually around sort of 5 gram of this Good Gut Topper Berry Boost, a healthy mix of hemp, chia, linseed with goji berries, acai and banana. I got this from M&S. I saw it quite early on when I was sort of thinking about the mindset of protect the liver, feed the gut, that kind of thing, and I was like, oh, you look good. So yeah, pop in on top, and it's really yummy. I really like it. Sometimes I will have it with the Bio and Me granolas. These are high in fibre, plant-based, vegan friendly. There's no added sugar. All the sugars that are in these products just form naturally from the fruits. It's nothing sort of, no, you know, artificial sweeteners or anything like that. So the Bio and Me, it's 12 plant-based foods, good for your gut, no added sugar, all natural, high in fibre. So fibre is something that I'm trying to pay attention to. I didn't realise the importance of fibre before sort of reading those books. So yeah, I am just trying to make a conscious effort to have good fibre in my diet and not being too concerned about like the carbohydrate values and things like that. Just trying to have a good balanced approach to it. So yeah, I'm gonna whip up my breakfast and enjoy that. So I've finished my very delicious breakfast. I really do love it. Such a fan. And a few worky bits that I've been working on over the last few hours, and I am just about to head out now to go run a couple of errands. I need to take a parcel to the parcel shop. I need to go and get some sort of supplies for Jim and Joe in terms of like lem sips and that kind of thing, and there's a few other bits and bobs that I need to do. So I'm gonna do that now so that I can get back and then just throw myself into everything else I want to do with the afternoon. This is my new car, by the way. For those of you who are a returning viewer, you will have seen me in the van when I've been in a vehicle, which is a shared vehicle with myself and Jim, but just due to sort of needing a little bit more of my own independence in terms of a vehicle, because as well as sort of like working full time, I do sort of care for my mum who lives over in Leeds, and you know, I'm just always sort of like back and forth all over the place. And then obviously Jim uses the van for work, so it just made sense for us to sort of have individual vehicles. So, and be under no illusion that I just went out and bought a new car. Definitely didn't happen. I was actually saving up since November last year, and managed to save an amount, and I think it was May, beginning of May, March, April, oh no, around April time I think. Gosh, my memory is so shockingly bad when it comes to dates and times. But yeah, I managed to save an amount, and then I went and had a little look online, and then I saw my lovely Mini. So I got myself a little Mini Cooper. It's a 2010 plate, so he's not like brand new, but I absolutely love him. And yeah, just thought I'd fill those of you who may be like, what's going on? Why this looks differently? We normally see a different view when you are in a vehicle. So yeah, that explains that, I suppose. Right, going to crack on with my errands. So I've just popped into Boots to pick Jim and Joe up some supplies, but I noticed this so super cute, adorable little kitty cat dress, and I just could not resist getting it for a soon, very soon, mama to be crazy cat lady. So there we go. That's so cute. I've just got to quickly pop into a food shop, grab a few bits, and then I'll be heading back home. But the weather is insane. It's so rainy. What's going on? So it is quite a bit later on. I got home and gave Jim some lemsip and what have you, and Joe actually, because he was home as well, and then did a little bit of work and what have you, and then I just popped over to see Jim's sister as she's just had a hip operation. So took her a few sort of groceries and what have you, and just spent a little bit of time with her. But I'm home now and I am going to start preparing dinner, so I thought I'd share what we're going to have. I'm going to make a roast chicken. I really like these free range whole chickens from Sainsbury's. I would really love to find, and I have had a little look but not much success, but I would really like to find like an organic farmer or something in the local area. I know you can get like organic food boxes delivered. I've found this company called Well Easy, and it's like an online supermarket, and it's basically full of like organic produce and food items, and it's like a discounted rate to what you would get in the supermarket, because frustratingly organic food is so expensive in the supermarkets, and I've been trying to be very picky with what I'm choosing, because I don't have a massive food budget that allows to get everything like organic. I would love that, but yeah, it's just pretty impossible. But when it comes to sort of like meats, they are particularly expensive. Now I do try and go for sort of like the free range things, or like you know, grass-fed ethical kind of meat sources, but they're very hard to come by in most supermarkets. And on Well Easy they do like an organic, ethically sourced kind of meat box, but it's quite expensive. So I'd love to find that. One of the main reasons being something else that I've learned recently about, or been made more aware of, is the amount of sort of antibiotics and things that are given to farm animals, obviously within that environment, as they're sort of being reared. Yeah, they're given quite a lot of antibiotics, which is playing havoc with antibiotics in general, because the bacteria is becoming quite immune to it. And also, a side thing to that is something else that I learned, is antibiotics completely eradicate all of your good bacteria in your gut. And I've got a really sort of thing going at the moment with trying to be very helpful to my good bacteria, trying to eat lots of fibre, like I was saying earlier, because the good bacteria in your gut, actually that's what they survive on, is the fibre. That's why it's so important. And yeah, we don't sort of digest the fibre, they eat it. And yeah, that's why it's so good for your digestive system. But if you have antibiotics, obviously it's very important if you have an infection to take them, but that basically clears out all your good bacteria. And obviously if you're eating meat, like I am a meat eater, and that animal's been reared on antibiotics, you're obviously ingesting it by proxy through them. So yeah, it's quite the minefield. Like, I can't, if I think about it too much, then it really frustrates me. But I'm just trying to be aware and trying to be as informed as possible and do as much as I can. Like I say, I can't really go out and just sort of buy everything organic, but I'm trying to be very choosy. And I feel like the meat sources, I'd really like to find somewhere where I can just go in and know that the animals have been reared in a nice way, and you know, the treatment of them, because it's all well and good buying, like me buying this free range chicken, but there's only so much that you know on the packet. Like, if it's not organically sourced, then a whole host of things can be going on. But anyway, I digress. So I've got my chicken, which I'm gonna put in the oven. I'm just gonna sort of baste it with some butter, just some full fat organic butter. Put that on there, a little bit of salt, and then I am going to do some sweet potatoes. Look at the size of these sweet potatoes. Like, what on earth is going on here? Like, that is insane, is it not? I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I think I would fancy sort of making them into like little squares. Are they called pianto? I don't know, potatoes, something like that. Just little square potatoes. Probably pop them in the air fryer with just a little bit of olive oil or something, and a little bit of seasoning. And then I'm going to do some tenderloin broccoli, fine beans and runner beans. This is like a microwave bag, which is really handy. I had no idea that that was the situation. Not too sure whether I'm going to do that or whether I'm just going to pop them in a pan and boil them. Probably do some mushrooms. I'll just cook them in butter. I tend to cook everything in butter. I know that it's like, you're probably thinking, but Maria, you're on a weight loss journey and butter's full of calories. But like I say, I'm more trying to steer more towards a direction of sort of health overall and real foods, rather than, you know, these artificial sprays that you can get that are like, you know, ridiculously low calorie or whatever. I do have an extra virgin olive oil spray, which is like a 1 calorie spray or something. I don't know actually. I say this and I can't remember. 2 calories. Oh no. Yeah, 2 calories per spray, which is absolutely fine. But I prefer to use this when it's on like a salad or something. I'll probably give those potatoes like a little spritz, but yeah. But yeah, I just tend to use butter. I just don't go mad. I just think it's personally better for you. This might become annoying, just bringing up random things, but as I'm chatting I'm remembering certain facts. So trans fats, which were part of our food for a long time, there was obviously banned because it was discovered that the molecules of the trans fats were just absolutely horrendous for the body. We can make trans fats at home if you are cooking and you heat sort of rapeseed oils and vegetable oils to a certain temperature, but that doesn't happen with sort of solid fats like butter and lard and that kind of thing. So yes, that's it. If I'm honest, the main reason is because food tastes amazing when it's been cooked in butter. I just try not to use a massive amount. I think a little goes a long way to add flavour. And I have these, what brand are they? Are they like Always pans or something? Can't remember. They're quite well known, these guys. And yeah, you don't really need to use any oils or anything. They're like non-stick, but so just a little bit of butter just adds a little bit of flavour, and helps things cook and what have you. So yeah, that's the main idea of the meal. And then I think I'm going to have just a few beans on the side. I saw these in Sainsbury's a little while ago. It's the bold bean organic white beans, and they are super yummy. Like, I wasn't sure what I was going to think. I do love beans, as you know, baked bean, kidney bean. I am a big bean fan. And obviously thinking about my fibre intake, good fibre sources, beans are a great source of fibre. Really good for your digestive system and just good overall. So I thought I would give them a try, with the idea of having them maybe in replacement of, say for instance I'm cooking a meal for the family and Jim and Joe are wanting like noodles or chips or something like that, I can have these instead, or rice even. So for instance, if we're having a chili con carne, I'll have a couple of spoonfuls of these, and so far it's working really well. I'm really enjoying it. What I've been doing is popping these in a pan just on their own with nothing else, and then adding some crushed like garlic and a little bit of salt and pepper, and they are so nice. It actually says on the label, become bean obsessed, and it does say somewhere like try straight out of the jar. I can't remember, but I remember seeing it somewhere, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And they are really yummy. So you can add them to salads, add them to anything. Really good. So yeah, that's what I am gonna do for dinner. So we all very much enjoyed our dinner. It was very yummy, and I am happy with all of my food choices for today. I'm on track with my calories and my protein and my fibre, and I'm a little bit over on my sugar, but it's all from sort of natural sources like fruits and things like that, so I'm not super duper concerned about it. And I am pretty much there with my step goal. I think if my eyes are reading rightly, I'm on 9,839, so pretty much there with them. Just got a couple more to do, and then I'm probably just going to sit on the sofa with my laptop and finish up a little bit more work before going to bed and getting up tomorrow. But I am planning on continuing this vlog tomorrow, so I will see you then. Good morning and happy Wednesday. I am just out of the shower and getting myself ready for a day at work over in the studio. But I just thought I would have a little quick chat while I was getting ready, or try my best, because I'm not very good at multitasking. Because I sort of was thinking in the shower that I haven't really touched upon sort of like my ideology around how I'm going to continue losing weight or pick the weight loss sort of train back up. I know that I've obviously expressed my desires to eat as minimally ultra processed foods as possible in terms of my health, but I haven't really sort of expressed how I'm going to do that in a weight loss capacity. And in terms of my channel and my videos, that's kind of fundamentally what the channel is about. It's bringing you guys along with me on my weight loss journey and health journey and fitness journey, because it's something that I have struggled with for the majority of my life. I mean, I have had some some successes towards losing weight in the past, and my weight has fluctuated over the course of my life. This isn't my heaviest. I was my heaviest when I was much younger, and throughout sort of all of my childhood and early teen years, I was overweight quite considerably. And I might see if I can find a photo, which is something I don't think I've ever done on my channel, and insert it here, or a few photos, just to kind of show what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was overweight throughout my childhood, and then I sort of got to an age of sort of like probably from around the ages of 14, 15, I started somewhat naturally losing some of that weight, because I was just being a bit more active in general, sort of like meeting my friends and walking everywhere basically. So that helped, and then I found a huge passion for aggressive inline skating, which is strange because prior to that I had always been that kid that had a note for PE, really shied away from any sort of like physical activity, just was not me. And then yeah, just absolutely fell in love with the sport, and that is what I would spend as much of my spare time as possible doing. I don't think it's a good idea to use the viewfinder for bronzer, but hey ho. Yeah, so, and then that sort of in turn led me down a path of wanting to care about my health, because I was skating so much. I wanted to be, I just noticed that the side of my neck is really tender, and I think it's probably the virus that both Jim and Joe have got. I don't feel sort of sick in myself, but I definitely have an inflamed lymph node there because it's really, really tender. So hopefully my body will just fight that off without much notice from myself. What was I saying? Yeah, so that in turn sort of encouraged me to think about my health, because I was doing something like a sport basically, and I was competing, and I just wanted to be sort of the healthiest I could be. I wanted to be able to skate for as long as possible without getting tired, and there was elements of sort of how I looked and wanting to sort of lose weight. I did grow up in that era, in the 90s and early 90s of like the heroin chic, Kate Moss models. Bridget Jones was fat apparently, but when we look back now, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, I was dead set on achieving like a thigh gap and a flat stomach, and yeah, but I was pretty small in comparison to what I was previous to all that. But yeah, obviously in my adult years, having found out that I have lipedema, that explained quite a lot of sort of why I struggled with the things I did at certain points in my life, even if I was like super sporty and wasn't eating very much. But I think I think having learned the things I've learned now and understanding how certain foods interact with the body and lead into like inflammation and things, I think that's hopefully gonna help me a lot, having that knowledge now. But yeah, basically it's something I've struggled with all my life, and leading into adulthood, sort of like going up and down in weight, and obviously sort of like having certain eating disorders and things like that, which I have touched on in other videos. I'm sure if you have a little look through my previous videos you'll find them. But yeah, it's been a struggle, and I think that being said, I can totally appreciate like how difficult it is for some people to lose weight or to get on top of it, or you know, they want to make a like a permanent change or a new lifestyle, and basically want to lose weight for whatever reason, whether it's cosmetic or health, and just really struggle. So I just wanted to share my journey and struggles with you all, so that maybe you could feel a little bit less alone, or you know, for whatever reason. But I just thought I wanted to bring you guys along with me. So that's basically the idea behind my channel and why I started it in the first place. But sort of moving into this new mindset, I want to sort of get to my goal as soon as possible, being the impatient person that I am. But you know, having said that, I do feel like at this particular moment in time, I'm just not in any massive rush to sort of see that I've lost like 6 pounds in a week or something, you know. It's more about sort of learning about health and my body and foods and nutrition, and hopefully while I'm on that journey of learning and discovering, I can actually lose some weight as I go. But yeah, the aim basically in a nutshell is to get to my goal weight when that ever happens, whilst I am learning along the way about the best things to do for my body. And yeah, just get there in a nice sort of steady pace, really. Not just sort of like lose all the weight in an unhealthy method for me and then gain it all back. But I do think I will resume my Friday weigh-ins, because I think it's nice, just if you are watching for that reason, it is nice to have sort of like an update and see how the scale is moving in terms of in a reflection to what I'm doing. So I am going to return to Friday weigh-ins. I'm not sure what capacity I'll be like weighing and uploading, but I'm gonna certainly try to do like a weekly, at least that weekly update, and yeah, vlogging my day-to-day life as I go along. But I just thought I would somewhat come on and ramble about that. And then also in terms of my actual weight loss element of it, I have started sort of tracking again on NutriCheck, and do have sort of a calorie deficit, weight loss calories in mind, which I'm gonna try and stick to. But then also I'm just gonna kind of try and listen to my body. I know at some point earlier on, maybe in the very first clip of this video, I was explaining about how I'm trying to sort of like steer away from having just one number to aim for, because it doesn't, I don't know, it's seeming to not make, it makes sense in a fact of, you know, you have to be in some kind of calorie deficit to lose weight, but I feel like it doesn't really make sense every day. You know, some days we're less hungry, some days we're a little bit more hungry. So I'm trying to tune in with my body and listen to my hunger. If I'm feeling, you know, one day that I'm not particularly hungry, I'm not going to force myself to get to that goal number. And then if I'm feeling a little bit hungry some days and I've eaten to that number, I'm not going to beat myself up if I have, like, you know, an apple or a banana or something, and go over it. So that's the plan in terms of weight loss, and hopefully when I introduce more exercise again, that will help. So I am ready and just about to set off for work. I wasn't feeling like super hungry this morning, so I have just popped an apple and a banana into my bag. I might have the apple on the way in if I do get a bit peckish, but so far so good. And I think I am just going to pop Metabolical back on, as I haven't had the opportunity to research and download a new book to read, and I do really like that book, as you've probably gathered. So I'm just gonna listen to that through one more time, familiarise myself with everything I learned, because I have this thing where, well, I'm dyslexic and I think it's got something to do with that, but I can read a book or I can sort of like watch a documentary or learn something, and if I don't familiarise myself with it enough initially in the beginning, it just kind of leaves my memory. So I'm gonna do that, and yeah, pray there's no major traffic.
Oral bacteria can only metabolize carbohydrates that are...
So I'm now at work, 40 minutes later than scheduled, thank you to the traffic. That no traffic prayer before I set off did amazingly well. I am now just on my way home from work. Had a really good day. I am pretty hungry, so I'm very much looking forward to getting home and having dinner. I'm going to be making a homemade chicken soup with the leftover chicken from yesterday's tea. And yeah, it does take quite a while though, but I do have some work and stuff I need to finish up with, so I'll probably start prepping that and sort of like getting it in the pan on a boil, so then that's cooking away, and then just finish up with the rest of the work that I need to do, I suppose. It is pretty warm and I'm just very much looking forward to getting home now. Now 5 o'clock and I'm just home from work. There was quite a bit of traffic on the way home as well, so it's just been a day of bad traffic today. But I'm home now and I'm very hungry, so I am going to crack on with making tea, which is going to be a homemade chicken soup, and I'm going to use the leftover chicken from the roast chicken yesterday, and sort of like somewhat make like a bone broth. But it does take a couple of hours or so I'm gonna crack on with that now, and then I've just got a bit of work and stuff to finish up with while that's on the boil.
It's July.
You had a pretend birthday and it's actually in October.
No, come on.
Really wanted to go into HMV today and get a revenge.
Shut up, done it.
I know. I really wanted to. Really wanted to. You can still touch the ceiling? Well, that's good. I can tick that off the list.
Oh.
Are you feeling any better?
I just feel really tired and lethargic.
Did you have a bit of a restless night as well?
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, Dad couldn't sleep.
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Were you awake the whole time, or were you a bit like awake and...
Awake the whole time, pretty well. I've fallen asleep and I kept coughing myself awake.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How was your cough today?
Bad.
You need to drink hot water.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Games on tonight.
And everybody's watching her. Watch us looking at you.
I think we should win though.
I think it's gonna be... Are you flexing in the back of the camera? Hello and good morning. Happy Thursday, I think. It's been a bit of a mad rush to get ready this morning. Been one of those mornings where, yeah, I'm just not focused. Kept forgetting things. But I think I'm all packed now and I am just about to head off to work. So obviously yesterday I didn't really end the video, which I suppose doesn't really matter when I'm doing these more weekly few days rolled into one style vlogs. But yeah, basically just made the soup, ate the soup, and then very shortly fell asleep on the sofa. I was sort of like dozing, half watching the football with Jim and Joe, and yeah, and then went to sleep pretty soon after that. And when I say I was tired, so tired, but thankfully throughout the day I've managed to sort of accumulate all my steps, which I was so grateful of because I was so tired yesterday. Oh, well, I remember actually in one of my earlier clips I mentioned that I had sort of kept up to my step, my 10,000 minimum 10,000 step a day goal, which I've done that now for 346 days consecutively. Now on the 24th of June That was around the time when I injured my feet, when I got the really bad blisters. And when I say really bad blisters, I actually ended up in hospital because my pharmacist thought they were infected. Thankfully they weren't, but they were very, very, very sore. And it ended up where I couldn't really put full pressure on the flat of my foot because my heel, when I would press my heel down to take a step, it would just be far too sore. Too much pressure on the back of my heel and just too sore. So I was walking around on like tippy toes. And I did, on the 24th, I managed 5,727 steps. But I just couldn't, I just tried really hard and it was just like, there's just no way. And I was very upset about it because obviously I believe that is, let me just count. Oh gosh, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, oh, it's like 2 weeks ago. So what, like 330 something days at that point. So yeah, I was very upset about that, the prospect of losing my streak at that point, because I really want to go and do a solid year, which is in August, is only next month, so I'm so close to doing that. But yeah, there was just absolutely no way. So I gave in to defeat at 5,727 and then woke up the next day ready to sort of like try and build my streak up again. And to my amazement, it still said 346 days. And then I realized that the app I use you can select rest days. After 6 consecutive days, you can have a rest day. And I was like, oh my God, never knew that. Probably a good thing. So prior to that point, I did it every single day consecutively, at least 10,000 steps. I mean, it's very varied. We've got like 16,000, 17,000, 23,000, 10,863. So it's very much up and down, up and down, up and down. But the minimum is 10K. So yeah, I was very, very happy to discover that. So I managed to keep my streak. I also had a rest day on Friday. See, this is the thing, now I know those rest days are there after 6 consecutive days. So I injured my feet on the 24th, couldn't complete my steps, and then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it wasn't like I got to the 6th day and been like, I can have a rest day now. For whatever reason, on Friday, I was just absolutely exhausted. So tired, and just kept falling asleep on the sofa. Really, really tired, just didn't have any energy. Don't know what that's about. So yeah, I just thought I'm just gonna have one of those rest days. But I'm gonna try now, from here until my year streak, not to have any more of those rest days. But one thing I was extremely pleased about was the fact that obviously in my head I'd lost that streak, but I got up the next day with the full intention of still doing 10,000 steps, and I think I've done it so long now that it is just ingrained in me to do it. I'm not doing it for any other specific reason than it just feels like part of my daily life. I feel like very much early on, if that was the case, if say for instance I'd done like 52 days or something, I don't think I would have been bothered about picking it back up. So I think I've just done it long enough now that it's somewhat ingrained, which is good. Yeah, I didn't think, right, I've lost my streak, I'm not good, therefore I'm not going to carry on, which I'm very happy about. Right, let's see. So that's really pleasing to see. My sat nav is saying 1 hour and 10 minutes. Let's hope it's true, because serious are avoiding congestion. Okay, that's fine, I'm happy with that. However, I do need to go to the petrol station. Right, I need to go. So it is 20 to 6 and I'm home from work. A very stressful, long day at work. But I'm home now. I'm very, very happy that Jim's cooking tonight. And I'm very, very happy that he's cooking one of my favourite meals that he does, which is sweet potato, ginger and garlic chicken stew. So here he is.
Hi.
Washed out by the light in the conservatory.
Just washed out in general. Washed out in general.
Yeah, so I'm very happy that I'm not cooking tonight, and very happy that Jim is cooking us a lovely, healthy, tasty meal. Are we having a listening party tonight? Or do you reckon it's going to be... Or are we going to put it on hold this week?
I don't know.
So Thursday nights in this household are vinyl listening evenings. Did I explain that right? Was that the right way to say it?
Uh-huh.
So myself, Jim and Joe are all huge music fans, and we've got a little collection of vinyl. Say little, it seems to be ever growing. And on a Thursday evening, we each have like an hour to pick a album or collection of songs, and we all have to sit there with no phones, no other sort of like distraction. Was that Joe laughing in the background? I got told off last time for being on my phone.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, so we basically just listen to an album of our choosing and each other's, and it's quite a nice thing. Last week, was it last week where Joe's... So last week it was Joe's birthday, and he got to choose the whole evening's listenings, which were... Oh God, I'm not doing a very good job at speaking, I think, because I'm so tired and I've had a pretty intense day. So basically, I can't really concentrate.
And this dog is
She's a needy girl.
outside of the cupboard.
Floss has got some treats which she particularly likes at the moment.
It's like
Yes, you know. You know. You know what we're talking about. And they're in there. They're in that cupboard. So she basically sits outside of it and cries until one of us can't take it anymore and she gets one.
Right, go away.
Go away.
There was another 20 minutes.
Probably our own, what's the word?
Sanity.
No, we created a monster there. Yeah, what we were saying. Yeah, basically that Joe got to play the whole evening's records last week, which was nice, which was fun. But yeah,
Didn't you do one the day after with the X album? Yes.
Well, I played like a little bit of it, didn't I?
And then what happened?
And then I can't remember. I can't remember what happened. What happened? I can't remember. What was it?
Nothing important.
Are you happy I've forgotten?
No.
Right? I don't know what happened. I don't know. That's gonna bug me now.
Yeah.
You're evil. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I've got a little bit of work I need to finish, unfortunately, and then I have some steps I need to do. Unlike yesterday, when I naturally accumulated all of my steps, I'm on 6,506, so I've got quite a few to do. Jim's gonna get me copyrighted. Shut him out. There we go. Ooh, sorry. Didn't mean to slam the door. So yeah, gonna go and try and get as many steps as I can, get some work done, and then enjoy Jim's tea, I think. Yeah, sounds like a plan. You're doing my steps with me.
Right, does everybody want to come and tell me how much they want?
Yes.
Maria did offer to make rice actually, and I said well, we didn't need it because it had butternut squash in it.
Sweet potato. So it is Friday and I have quite a hectic day ahead of me. I'm heading out to work in just a second, and then after I have to go and help my mum with a few things. So I think I am going to end this weekly vlog here, but I just wanted to come on and sort of round it up really. I really enjoy this format, so I think going forward this is the kind of thing I'm going to do. I did weigh in this morning and I'm going to leave that for a separate video, which will probably be at some point over the weekend. But I know I said earlier that I'm going to stick to Fridays, but I'm kind of thinking I might actually quite like to change it to Mondays, just because that would fit in with my schedule a little bit better, as I have Mondays off work. So I think going forward I might do that. However, I will make a video at some point over the weekend possibly, or maybe on Monday. Maybe I'll just start my whole Monday weigh-ins this week. I'm not sure, I'll figure it out. But yeah, a really good sort of happy, healthy week so far, very productive, and I have really enjoyed filming again. So I would really like to take this through into the future and continue. It's been sort of difficult getting back into the swing of it after months and months sort of away from the camera, so I feel like I'm a bit more familiar with it now. And yeah, I just really hope that you guys have enjoyed watching as well. I'm just looking down at this little guy. I actually went and saw Laura last Saturday, I think it was, and she had a few gifts for me, and one of them was these, which are just so super cute. They're like little affirmation cards that sit in this really lovely little wooden block, and I've decided that what I'm going to do is each week I'm going to switch them over, but they're really lovely. So this week I chose this one, which is I am strong and capable of achieving my goals. Is that gonna focus? There we go. And then I also chose this one, which is I am in control of my health and I make wise choices to nourish and energize my body. How great are they? So yeah, they're just basically all little affirmations, and each week I'm going to pick 2 new ones and pop them on there, but I thought I would share them with you, just to give you a little pep in your step. Hello Jim, I'm filming.
Oh, hello darling.
It's all going on. Yeah, just thought I would share them with you to pass on the energy and the message. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video now and head out to work, but I really hope that you have enjoyed watching, and until next time, stay happy, healthy and well. Bye.